This is about a 1 pound potato, about 350 to 400 calories. And for the last 7 days straight, I ate one of these every single day, and I lost 7 pounds. Now, before you click away, there is some other mechanisms that were involved in this weight loss. I know what you're thinking. Potatoes, the entire diet culture has taught us for the last 30 years that these are to be avoided. Low carb, ketos, Atkins, carnivore. This potato is the villain in pretty much every single one of those diets. I am not saying that this is magic and that you should go out and eat loads of potatoes and you're going to be seeing just weight melt off. That's not what I'm saying. But I ran the experiment. I tracked everything, I paid attention to how I felt, and I want to talk to you about why this actually works, what I learned, and what this could teach you about satiety. It's the thing that I've been talking about quite a bit over the last couple of months, so I promise this video is going to be a peeling. I had to get that in there. I'm sorry, it's early. We'll move on from there. So a couple of months ago, I came across something called the Satiety Index. It's a 1995 study out of the University of Sydney where they had people eat 240 calorie portions of different foods and then tracked how hungry they were over the next 2 hours. And the food that ranked number one by a lot, boiled potatoes. These were 7 times more satiating than a croissant, more filling than eggs, fish, whole grain breads, all of it. Now, I've thought about satiety throughout my weight loss, figuring out ways to keep me fuller longer. That game has been around for a while. Reading the Satiety Index was kind of eye-opening. It was kind of neat to be able to see where foods ranked and how they kept people feeling fuller. So somewhere along the way, potatoes got thrown under the bus as a bad diet food, or under the food pyramid, legitimately. So I kind of wanted to give it a try. What would happen if I added a lot of boiled potatoes into my diet? So this is the way that I did it to keep it fair. The rules: 1 pound every day. That's roughly 1 russet potato. Not hard. I could prep it however I wanted, but nothing crazy. Either broiled, baked, air fried, mashed with a little salt, but I needed to keep it simple. No added fats. That would completely change the game. Now, the potato wasn't the only thing that I ate. I just added this into my existing diet. I built meals around it. This wasn't an extreme diet. That wasn't the point that I was trying to prove. I weighed myself every morning, same time, same conditions, and I tracked my calories to keep myself in a significant deficit. Okay, so let's explain what's actually going on here. Because again, it's not just the potato that's doing something magical. There's no such thing in weight loss. Potatoes are high in something called resistant starch, especially when you cook and cool them. Resistant starch doesn't digest the same way that regular starch does. It ferments in your gut and feeds your gut bacteria. That's the important part. It signals your body to stop eating. Kind of like a pretty expensive shot in medication that a lot of people are getting turned on to. Resistant starch literally affects your hunger hormones. It really is incredible when you start adding resistant starches to your diet, how full you feel, how quickly that signal turns off. Those dopamine hits, the thought of wanting to get that next bite, doesn't exist. Now, I have been doing a test with whole resistant starch for the last 45 days, last month and a half. I have another 45 days to go on this test. I actually paused it for the week to eat the potato every day. I did blood testing along with body composition testing to see what happens to your body when you have high amounts of resistant starch every single day for 3 months. This is based off of a study that's gaining popularity. That video will be out next month or at the end of July. I'm really excited about that because what I'm seeing so far has been pretty impressive. Now, besides the resistant starch, potatoes have very high water content. They're about 80% water by weight. So when you're eating a pound of potatoes, you're filling your stomach with volume and water, not just calories. That's physical fullness. Again, I've been talking about this quite a bit because that matters a lot. So here's the thing about calories. A pound of chicken breast is around 500 calories. Gram for gram, potatoes are one of the lowest calorie density whole foods you can eat. And because of that, you get fuller faster, stay fuller longer on lower calories. You don't have to track every single bite. I know I've been talking about tracking, but when you eat foods that are keeping you full, meaning you eat less, you are naturally going to end up in a caloric deficit. That's the mechanism. It's just physics and fiber. Basically, the potato is one of the most filling foods on planet Earth. And for some reason, diet culture spent 30 years telling you that it was the enemy. I truly don't get it. So real quick, today's video is sponsored by Aura Frames. Father's Day is coming up, and if you're like me, the unofficial family photographer who's got 10,000 photos just sitting on your phone, Aura is genuinely the answer to that problem. This is the Aspen frame. We also have the Carver Mat. They're Wi-Fi connected digital frames that I absolutely love. And that's because the photos look real. They auto adjust for brightness in the room, and they have smart cropping, which means faces don't get cut off. My photos actually look like photos, not screensavers from 2004. You load photos through their free app, or you could just text them right to the frame. So we have our two frames on here, plus my mom's frame. So I can send photos right to my mom's frame every time we got something new that I want to share with her. Along with being incredibly easy, you have unlimited photos. So you can add as many as you want, keep as many as you want on the frame, and you can keep adding them from anywhere. And if you're buying them for a gift, before it ships, you can preload them with photos. Even add a personal message so it feels more like a gift, not just a gadget. Like I said, we've gotten them for gifts for the entire family. Everybody loves them, and they were named #1 by Wirecutter. So gang, you can save now by visiting auraframes.com. For a limited time, viewers can save $35 off select frames with code SAUCEDASH. That's AURA frames.com, promo code SAUCEDASH. Gang, make sure you support the channel by mentioning me in the checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Aura, thanks for sponsoring today's video and for making such an incredible gift. So what did I actually notice besides the weight? I noticed that I wasn't hungry at all. Week 1, I was eating the potato more for dinner, and I would notice that would be it. I would be stuffed throughout the rest of the night. I wasn't reaching for a snack, like a late night snack, like a piece of chocolate or something. The Satiety Index thing isn't just a number on paper, like you actually do feel it. Now, for the first couple of days, I was eating it for dinner, but then I realized because I was staying so full, I wanted to try to have it more for lunch. So days 3 and 4, I had it for lunch. And what that actually did was it kept me full enough to where my dinners, I started to kind of make them smaller. So my day would get kind of preloaded. I would have more calories in the morning, a little bit more for lunch, and then my dinners would be small because I'd be genuinely full. Now, I want to say that with resistant starch, one of the things that happens, especially when you're eating a lot of resistant starch and you stay consistent with it, the microbes in your gut feed off of that starch as it passes through your body, which creates some gas and a little bit of bloating. It's not painful bloating, so it's not bloating that you're gonna feel discomfort from, but the gas is pretty extreme, more than I would have ever expected. Now, I think a lot of that I am experiencing from taking pure resistant starch and then kind of adding in this resistant starch throughout this week. So I don't know if I can completely contribute that to the potatoes, but I do know it is contributed to resistant starch. Days 5, 6, and 7, you get kind of bored. That's why I say don't do this every day. It's not super sustainable. It's not something that I would recommend as like your diet tool. It's just something that I would say throw in the rotation a little bit more often than what you probably do with weight loss. If you think you can eat potatoes every day, yeah, go for it. But to me, I was kind of starting on how many potatoes I can eat. I truly was. I will say the one nice thing about adding the potatoes in is the amount of consistent energy. I did feel that throughout the week. Days 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 really is when it started to kick in. By day 7, I just felt good. My runs in the morning were getting better, easier. My legs didn't feel as hard. I felt like I wasn't as carb depleted. No crashes, no afternoon slumps. Everything felt pretty good. So on day 7, I had my final weigh-in. I had 7 pounds down. It was a very consistent 1 pound loss just about every single day. Now, that weight loss is because of the calorie deficit, but the calorie deficit was made much easier because of the potato. Now, there are some other mechanisms that I do believe the resistant starch was pulling the trigger of, and that is going to be in a future video because I'm gonna have more tests to actually clarify exactly what happened. But I do believe doing this most likely lowered my LDL cholesterol and most likely reduced some visceral fat. We will see for sure, but based on the tests that I've already done, things like cooked and cooled potatoes can accomplish just that. So I want to talk about what this wasn't. 7 pounds in 7 days sounds dramatic, and it is very dramatic. That's a lot of weight loss. But I want to be real with you, it is just weight. That doesn't mean that I burned 7 pounds of fat. A good portion of that could have very well been water weight. It is summer. I am on a calorie deficit, so I can be burning fat, but during the summer, I'm going to sweat a lot more when I'm doing workouts. And if I'm not eating larger meals or even meals that could be processed, which I sometimes do, that means I might be having a little bit less sodium. Sodium reduces how much water your body holds onto. Your body can drop water weight very fast. Very, very fast. It can come up and down in a matter of days. That's why a lot of times when you go on vacation, you can gain an incredible amount of weight. And it's most likely because you're eating out a lot more. You're having foods that are much, much higher in sodium, and you retain a lot of water, especially during travel. My real fat loss based on my deficit that I've been doing is probably closer to 4 pounds, which is still a lot of fat. I am in a high deficit at the moment. A legitimate good fat loss, a safe fat loss, a fat loss that I promote and that I have done throughout my diet when I was in a higher fat loss, when I was looking to actually lose weight, is about 1 to 2 pounds a week. That's what most people should probably aim for. That's going to be a very manageable, very sustainable weight loss. So if you start eating potatoes every day of the week and you were expecting to lose a pound a day or 7 pounds in a week, you probably won't. And then if you do it for a week and then just go back to eating the way that you were already eating, if you did lose any weight, you might immediately gain it all back. So don't take this as a magic pill. What I actually think is worth taking from this experiment, and the reason why I wanted to do it, is because I wanted to prove that potatoes are not the enemy, and they should be added into your diet at a regular basis. They're good. It's a food that makes high volume, high satiety meals work even better. Now, 3 ways that I ate the potato so I didn't lose my mind. Pretty simple methods. 1, the boiled potato, just like this. Cubed, boiled, salted, done. Easy. This was also the main prep method, so that way I can throw them in the fridge. They become a useful resistant starch, and then I can use them in other methods. Number 2, the smashed potato. This one's easy. Boil it, smash it flat on a pan, hit it with a touch of olive oil, not much, a little bit of salt, air fry it 400 degrees until crispy. It got a crunch, it was a nice treat. And number 3 was the breakfast potato. Cubed up, really small, tossed in a pan with a tiny amount of oil, not much, seasoned really well. I liked smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and then made whatever protein I wanted. Typically, I just made like a tofu scramble. Most of the time, because I'm busy and I wanted it to be quick, I just ate it just like this, and it was fine for me. So here's where I landed after a week. I'm telling you that the food that is the highest rated on the Satiety Index is a food that you have probably been avoiding because someone on the internet told you it will make you fat, and it is just not true. Used strategically, it is a high volume, low calorie food that should be used as an anchor to your meals. The potato might just be one of the best weight loss tools that a lot of people are not talking about. I'm gonna keep eating them, not every single day, but I'm not going to avoid them or fear them. To add them into a couple of the videos, I'm hoping for a lot of you, you will start adding the potato back, thinking about other ways to incorporate a potato and help you stay fuller longer. Gang, if you found this useful, please click the subscribe button. That's what this whole channel is about. I'm gonna try different experiments, try different foods, trying to show you different ways so that way you can feel fuller longer, feel satisfied, and eat the way that you like for the rest of your life. Drop a comment, let me know if you've ever cut potatoes out of your diet for any reason. So curious to see how you feel after this, if it's something that you're gonna bring back or if you're still just avoiding them forever.